Hello everyone and welcome to Odoo Live. This is Ken, the Marketing Officer here at Odoo Hong Kong, and I will be your host for today's webinar. Joining me today, we have Danica, the Business Advisor here also at Odoo Hong Kong, and we will discuss the Odoo Sales Management software in this webinar. And throughout the presentation, we will be answering your question in the YouTube chat box, so please feel free to leave your question at the right hand side, and Danica will help me to get to them at the end of our section during the Q&A. And if you got here late, you can just revisit this URL and watch this webinar anytime you want once the live event has finished. Thank you all again for your joining, and let's get started for our webinar. And Danica, all yours.
Thanks, Ken. I'd just like to start with an introduction of what Odoo is, then we'll go into the demo. My name is Danica. I'm a business advisor here in Odoo. What I do is mainly to help clients who would like to use Odoo online, and I help them optimize their workflows or manage their database as a business advisor. What is Odoo? It's an all-in-one business management software. So it's very easy to use. The whole platform integrates the different modules that it contains. And these are some of the modules that we have. Odoo actually started in Belgium back in 2005. We've been around for about 13 years. Now we're present in 7 offices worldwide. I'm speaking to you guys from the Hong Kong office, which actually manages the whole Asia Pacific region. This is our CEO and founder, Fabien. He was the one who launched the software. He developed it with the goal of empowering different companies, including small to medium-sized businesses, to use tools that can help them improve their businesses. We've localized the software quite a lot over the years, so you can see here that we have more than 3 million users using it today. We've experienced a lot of growth as well due to this localization. These are some of the clients using Odoo today. We do cover both large enterprises and small to medium-sized businesses, so any business can actually use Odoo. And we're now at almost 4 million users worldwide. Today we'll be talking about sales management. So this is all about how you can manage your sales pipeline. You can see here how you'll be able to manage leads and opportunities from different channels, including email and website inquiries. You'll also be able to see how you can manage your full sales process within Odoo, including quotation creation and invoicing. So you'll be able to manage all of these in one place. Let's get to it now. This is a testing database that I've created for us today. What you're seeing here is the main dashboard of Odoo. So this is where you can find the apps that you have installed in your database. Note that Odoo is mobile friendly, so you can access it from any device, and you can also easily add or remove apps as you go along. This is the App Store where you will find the core modules that we have. Again, they're all integrated, they all communicate with one another. I've already installed the ones that we will need today. That's mainly CRM and sales, which work with our contacts app. So let me start with that. This is very important because it's a contacts database where you can store both customer and supplier information. This database would link with all of your apps. So for example, if you decide to get purchase, the vendor information here will also link to the purchase app. Mainly for today, we'll be using it for the customers that we'll be managing in the CRM. So I've got some dummy contacts in here. Notice that from this view, it's very easy to see the contacts I have. So I have companies and individuals alike. There are also some icons here which represent other items within Odoo that are related to this customer. If I want to see this in a more detailed view, I can switch to a list view, just like this. This view actually allows me to export my information as well. So everything within Odoo can be exported in an Excel file. You can also import your own data using CSV or Excel. So it's very easy to use, and I'm showing you this right now because you'll find that this is present in many of our views within Odoo. In here, I also have a search function which is very useful. Let's just switch back to Kanban. I can add filters based on any field or information within Odoo. For example, I can choose to only see companies that I've stored in my contacts database. I can also group them based on any field within Odoo. So you can save filters and groups together so that they will work as a saved search that you can just go back to. Now, if you go into any contact, just like the one I have here, you can see the fields that we have where you can store contact information about this customer. So in here, I can have multiple contact persons linked to my business client. I can also add different addresses to one contact. So here you can see there's the CEO and this is the company. This is where you can select if the contact is a customer or a vendor. You can also assign a salesperson for the customer. You can even indicate what payment terms you would usually give to the customer. So it's very easy to find everything that you need in just this contact page. And over here, you see some smart buttons which allow you to check any related transactions from our different apps. So these, for example, are from our sales and invoicing apps. This meeting function here would link to our calendar. So if you schedule meetings with this customer, you can also see all of that in here. And of course, we have opportunities which would link to the CRM. So in Odoo, every time you're working on a deal, you're working on an opportunity. We can jump into that now. When I click into it, I can see here the opportunity that I have with this customer. So in Odoo, all opportunities should be linked to a customer. That's the best way to manage it because you're able to store all of the customer information and you can see that in the customer page. Now I've actually jumped into the CRM from here so you can see the different stages I have in my pipeline. If I remove this filter, so there was an automatic filter since I jumped from the customer page. You can see that in the breadcrumbs over here. When I remove it, you can see all the deals that I have in my pipeline. This view is very easy to use because you're able to see the different stages that you have to track your progress as you're selling to a customer. You can easily edit this based on how you actually sell right now, just like this. And it's just easy to see many deals from this view because there are items here which represent the status of your deals or opportunities. So for example, this progress bar here indicates the activities that you've scheduled and the date that they were scheduled. So the yellow ones are the ones I've scheduled for today. Red ones are overdue activities. Green is for activities scheduled in the future. So from here, I can tell if there's anything that hasn't been paid attention to by my sales team. You can also see here the ones in gray, which opportunities have not been scheduled for an activity or a meeting yet. I can actually schedule an activity from this view as well. These are some default activity types, but you can easily set whichever activity type would be relevant to you. Of course, you can assign it to a user in your company. We typically recommend having one user account per salesperson so that they can have their own documents within Odoo. Okay, and set the date for the activity. So you see the change in here. Whenever a deal progresses, you can just drag it to the next stage as well. Also note that you have expected revenues indicated just from this view. So you can already tell the size of the deals that your salespeople are working on. Another thing that you can do here is set a probability for each stage, which can actually give you a report based on your expected revenue and probability as well. So if I switch to a list view, I can see my deals in this view, but I can group it by stage, which is typically what you would do. And then you can see here the expected revenues that you have as well as the probability. Okay, so let's go into an opportunity here. I have one for Jane Doe. So here I can log internal notes and have the customer information. There are also some fields for you to track which marketing campaigns your leads have come from. You could also add tags in here, just like this. Then if we scroll down, we see the chatter. The chatter is a communication function which you will also find in many views within Odoo. This allows me to send an email directly to the client. I can also log internal notes or schedule activities. So this is really useful because when you send an email to the client, it will all be stored in the chatter. You can also use email templates within Odoo that you can create on your own very easily. You can design those templates. I have a very simple one in here. I can also attach a file if needed, maybe an introduction deck, and send it to Jane. You can see the email has been stored in the chatter. If Jane replies to the same thread, it will also be received within the chatter. So you can see Odoo actually integrates with your email account so that it catches all of your emails within this thread. So I could reply, maybe set a meeting with myself. Okay, and if we refresh this, it will be received in the chatter. Note that you can choose how you get notifications within Odoo. It can be via email, it can be via Odoo notifications. You can see it here. Right? You'll also be able to track these within the icons above here. Activities scheduled for yourself will also appear in this function. It's sort of a reminder icon that shows you any scheduled activities from any module within Odoo. So I can mark this as done and maybe schedule my next meeting for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay. We also have Google Calendar integration, so you can actually send the calendar invite from here and it will also show on your own calendar. A few more things that you can do with the chatter is communicate internally. I can tag another user or follower within the company, maybe ask a question from here. I can also add followers within the chatter, which is basically similar to copying a person to an email, so they will receive all the emails that are being shared within this chatter or thread. Okay, so I hope that's all clear so far. Notice that the meeting that I set already appeared here as a smart button, and I can actually create a quotation from here. So let's just say that the meeting with Jane went well, so I can actually create a quotation now. I'm going to click this button. This bit already links with our sales management app. You're able to see this within the sales app as well. So we're still within the CRM. You can see here how the integration really allows you to move freely between the modules. Yeah, let me just send the code to Jane. I've already preset some products here, but you can actually store your own products. You can also import that in an Excel file. And of course set the prices, which would appear in here automatically. Also note that you can have price lists for your customers. So if you have customers who have a certain discount because they've been your customers for a long time, you can create a price list for that, which would automatically discount the product price that you've set already. Or you can apply a discount within the code, just like this. You can also set your own payment terms, which would appear as a drop down in here, and maybe set an expiration date for the code. to push the customer to respond. So for now, let me just save this. I want to make a note for the quotes. Usually we have clients who have their own type of information being stored within the quote. Odoo has a very easy solution for that. We have an app called Studio, which I've just activated, which basically allows you to modify this whole view. So you can add a new field here, or you can add a related field from another app within Odoo. Very easy. So let's just put here customer code, for example, so that it appears within my quotation or sale order view. In Odoo, sales orders and quotations are the same form. Basically, a sale order is a confirmed quotation. A quotation can also be sent in a PDF format. So for example, if I click this, okay, sorry about that. Let's just send it by email first, which also allows me to generate the PDF anyway. And this is how it looks. This is a default report, but you can easily modify these in Odoo as well. So you'll have your company details here, your product lines, and other quotation details in this format, automatically generated by Odoo. Okay. Then again, you have the same email view, so you can type up your email to attach with this code, or you can use a template. So this one already has a template. You can also have online quotations within Odoo, so that you basically are able to send a quote that appears on a web page. So just click into a link and see all the quotation details. So this looks a bit technical, but actually you can just fill it up based on the fields that we have in Odoo. So you can select any field and it will generate a placeholder for you, which you can put into your email template so that it will apply to any customer, right? So we could send this. Jane should receive it in her email inbox as well. You have the chatter again, so if Jane responds, you can see the response in here. It's very useful for managers because you'd want to know every interaction that's happening between your customer and salesperson, of course, and the chatter can't be edited actually. So once it's been stored in the chatter, it won't be deletable. Internal notes can't be deleted either, so it will all be in there. If your salesperson goes on leave or moves on, you can easily see what's gone or what's happened in the account that he or she was working on previously. Okay, so let's just say that Jane confirms this code and wants to go ahead with the company, so we can confirm it from here. So now it's turned into a sales order. From here, we can actually invoice the client very easily. We have several options if you do want to invoice the client. So you can first invoice a certain amount or percentage of the total order, or you could just invoice the whole thing. For now, we'll just invoice everything. Okay, so this is the invoice. Whoever is managing your invoices can be the one to validate the invoice. So you can set access rights for that. And again, maybe send it by email, which would generate the PDF report for your invoice, just like this, which you can easily modify again. Send it to the client. So the client has received the invoice. Well, now she has. And once the payment is completed, whoever is managing your payments can register the payment from here. If you do decide to do online transactions in terms of quotations, we have some payment acquirers who can help you get online payments. So that's possible as well. And this whole process can be even more automated, right? So you can just enter the payment amount and the payment journal. If you have exchange differences or gains or losses from exchange differences, we can actually process that in Odoo as well. So multi-currency functions are available. So are multi-company transactions. Okay. For this case, I've invoiced the whole order, but again, you can have multiple invoices for one order if there's a case where they have to pay a certain amount first. It's perfectly fine. Just to recap, we've already gone over the whole sales process, from managing the opportunity within your pipeline, creating a sales order, a quotation, confirming that order, and invoicing that whole order. So it's very easy because everything is in one platform. You won't have to do any double entry. All of the information is in one place. You can easily move from the CRM to the sales order. You can see how the interactions went before the quotation was sent. Maybe see the terms or the requests of the client from the CRM. You can also see any response within the quotation or quotations that you've sent to the client, and of course process the whole order from there. A few more things that I'd like you to take note of. If you have services that you want to track using a project management tool, you can actually automate that within Odoo as well. So you can have a product linked to a project so that it creates a task or a project for you. If you have stockable products, we can also have stocks automatically reserved within Odoo and delivery orders created for you to send them out. So everything works perfectly well and they're all integrated. Now I just want to emphasize a few more things here. So in terms of collecting your leads and opportunities, you can actually have several channels for that. You can activate a function which allows you to create a qualification stage. So whenever you receive an inquiry, you will first have to qualify it before it turns into an opportunity within your pipeline. This will allow you to sort through many inquiries if you get a lot, or if a lot of the emails or inquiries that you get aren't that valid. This actually works with the contact form or a set email address that you can assign to any sales channel you have. For this one, it's just this, sales at the company name. It's pretty standard, but you could have multiple sales channels for multiple markets if you'd like. And every time someone emails this email address, it will come into your leads in here. This is also linked to the website. This one is actually from the website. You can see here I can choose to convert it to an opportunity if it's a valid one. I just want to show you how this looks from a visitor's perspective. I can go into the website. This is the contact form. I can fill this out. Very quickly. Of course, you can change these fields if you'd like. And it will again appear within your leads here. Okay. You can see the company name that I entered was already put into here, the contact name. You can convert it to an opportunity, assign it to a salesperson, and of course create a new customer for any interested prospect. Okay. I just want to let you see the different views within the apps. So we touched on sales to create our quotations and sales orders. Again, they're the same form, but anytime you make a quote, it will appear in the quotations. Once it's confirmed, it becomes a sales order. So you can see that in here. You can also see your product catalog within the sales app. I have here services. If you have a lot, it's very similar to how the contacts database I showed you earlier would work. So you can still use filters in here for the different products or items that you would store in here. Invoicing would allow you to send out invoices, but it also allows you to create follow-up levels. I think a huge pain for many of those who would have to collect the payments is following up. So you can automate this within the invoicing app as well. So you can activate that function. I would normally recommend using invoicing with the accounting app because it allows you to do a lot more and you're able to create the journal entries from your sales automatically. Right? So you can set the follow-up levels in here. There are a lot more you can do that you can actually activate within the configuration settings here. So one thing is you can create coupons and promotions. You will need to have the website app for this typically because the coupon can be used to generate the discount for the client. This is where you can activate the online quotations. You can also add sections on your sales orders. So if you have bundles of products or services that you would usually offer and you want them to be separate product lines, you can activate this function. We also have integration with shipping providers. So if you activate these, it can give you an estimation of how much the shipping cost would be. So these are some of the add-on features that we have in the standard version of Odoo that you can easily activate. Okay. For the last bit, I'd like to show you the reporting functions available. So let's just go into that. So you'll notice here there are more views available for the CRM. So we went over the list view already. You can also generate graphs like this. So you can have a line chart, a pie chart, or a bar chart. The filters would still apply in here. So you can easily change what you see in here in this chart based again on any field that you have within Odoo. You can also generate a pivot table here. I can see the stages of my pipeline and their expected revenue here, but I can break this down if I want to see the customers who I'm dealing with. So this is a really useful view for your reports. You can also use the filters and groups in this view and even save an offline copy. Finally, there's a calendar view here which is useful for your scheduled activities or for any meetings that you might have. Okay. Lastly, there would also be the reporting function within the sales app, which is pretty similar, but this one will obviously be based on the quotations or sales orders that you send out. So you can see how many quotations you send out, how many sales orders you're able to confirm within 1 month. These functions are pretty standard within Odoo. All the fields that we have, we can generate a table of a report that you might need, and you can also save offline copies of these reports. So I think I've gone into detail about how the whole sales process would work within Odoo. You can manage your contact information all in here. That includes your supplier and customer database. You get one platform to see how your sales are going, which customers you're dealing with, how every interaction has gone, and you can also complete the whole sales process from quotation creation, sales orders, and invoices within Odoo.
Okay.
If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them now.
Cool. And we've got 2 questions. For the first one, it's about the leads notification.
Okay.
The candidates want to know if there will be an automatic notification showing if there's any new leads there, or one must navigate into the leads menu in order to check them.
So you would usually have to navigate into the leads menu to check. Now, if you would like to have a notification, you should be able to set a certain email address for the leads to come in as well. But I guess from the website form, there's no other way but to check the leads within the CRM.
Okay. So you can still be able to get the leads notification if you input your email, and then you will receive the email notification.
You can set the email address that would receive the inquiries. Then you will receive the notification in your email. But Odoo doesn't do that automatically for you.
Okay, perfect. And for the second question, it may not directly relate to the sales module, and I believe it's probably related to the inventory, because one of our attendees want to know how to set up different units of measure of single product. For example, if he buys one bag of rice or of some kind of food, then the weight is equals to 50 kilogram, and so that you want to set it and sell it on per kilogram.
Okay, this is more inventory related, but I would urge you to activate packages and units of measurement, so you can actually set one bag and have an equivalent amount for that package. So maybe you should set your unit of measurement as kilograms, and then you can set packages of one bag that would be equal to 50 kilograms.
Okay. Finally, we've got another question, but I don't really get into the question, because the question is about what are the issues we could face if we have more than 100,000 products. Can you specify more about your question, because I don't really understand what you would like to know about it. Do you mean, will there be any problems if you want to import 100,000 products into our sales application?
Well, this would really depend on your hosting option. If you're hosting it on your own server, then obviously you should have the capacity to manage 100,000 products within that server. Now, if you go for Odoo Cloud hosting, we do offer unlimited data hosting and storage, so it shouldn't be a problem. In terms of data import, of course, there would be a lot more work put into cleaning the data set and making sure that all the fields are synced to the fields in Odoo. But that would also depend on how many types of products you have and what product properties you store in the catalog.
Okay, right. As Danica mentioned, basically we have two implementation, which is the cloud hosting and also the local hosting, which relies on your own server. So the situation of importation of the product is really depending on different server and its capacity. So if you would like to know more about the difference between these two implementation, or the strength and also the details of this two implementation, you can just send email to Danica and also schedule a demo with her in order to get more information about it.
Yep.
And I think that's it for the Q&A section. Thank you thank you Danica for this stunning presentation and demonstration. And as always, if you have any further question, you can send it to my email address, kcn@odoo.com, and also Danica's one, which is included in the description box. And
there's one last question. It's fine, no worries. An internal log report. So you want to see all the notes that have been stored. Right now, this is going to be stored within every opportunity, so it can't really be consolidated into one. But if you're a follower of the opportunities that are relevant to you, it could be all the opportunities in your team, then you will receive a notification for all internal notes as an internal user. That would be the easiest way to manage it. So just add yourself as a follower.
Okay, that's clear. To add you as a follower in order to get the internal log. And then because we have more webinar coming through in the future, so please remember to subscribe our channel, and also don't forget to click like if you find this video helpful. And thank you all again for joining, and then we will see you next Wednesday for the webinar on the topic of Odoo manufacturing. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, and see you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.